In the ancient lands of Westeros, there once existed creatures of magnificent power and terrifying beauty. Dragons. These majestic beasts ruled the skies for centuries, casting shadows over kingdoms and striking fear into the hearts of all who beheld them. Today we shall observe a most remarkable hypothetical encounter. What if two of the most formidable dragons ever to grace the chronicles of history were to meet in combat? On one side stands Vhagar, the last survivor of the original Targaryen Conquest trio. Hatched during the Century of Blood, this magnificent creature grew to nearly match the legendary Black Dread himself. By the time of the Great Targaryen Civil War, known as the Dance of Dragons, Vhagar had reached the impressive age of 181 years. Her enormous body stretched some 90 meters in length, with wings that could envelop entire villages in shadow. Her experience in warfare was unparalleled among her kind. And on the other side, we find a truly extraordinary specimen, the Cannibal. Perhaps the oldest dragon known to exist, this untamed beast earned its name through a most disturbing behavior. Unlike other dragons, the Cannibal developed a taste for its own kind. Dragon eggs, hatchlings, and even fully grown dragons became prey for this savage hunter. Never once did a human rider tame this creature. The Cannibal remained wild, unpredictable, and utterly lethal throughout its mysterious existence. To understand which of these magnificent creatures might prevail in direct confrontation, we must examine 7 crucial factors that determine dominance in the world of dragons. First, size, where sheer physical mass and wingspan determine aerial dominance. Second, combat experience, those hard-won battles that shape a dragon's tactical approach. Third, disciplined temperament, the crucial distinction between raw aggression and calculated strikes. Fourth, firepower, perhaps the most devastating weapon in any dragon's arsenal. Fifth, age, which brings both wisdom and accumulated physical might. Sixth, speed, the ability to outmaneuver opponents in the deadly dance of aerial combat. And finally, specialized hunting abilities, those unique adaptations that might prove decisive in dragon versus dragon confrontation. Through these 7 parameters, we shall attempt to determine which of these magnificent creatures would likely prevail in direct combat. First, let's talk about size. Vhagar's growth over nearly 2 centuries resulted in truly extraordinary proportions. According to Archmaester Gildain's accounts in Fire and Blood, Vhagar had grown so immense by the Dance of Dragons that she was described as almost as large as Balerion during the Conquest. When Prince Aemond claimed her, the chronicles tell us that her wingspan could shade entire towns, and that she was 5 times the size of Prince Lucerys' young dragon Arax. The Cannibal, while immense by any standard, was described in The Princess and the Queen as the largest of the wild dragons on Dragonstone, yet historical texts never directly compare him to Vhagar or Balerion in size. Septon Barth's fragments suggest the Cannibal may have been ancient, but not as vast as the dragons of old Valyria. So, in this category, the advantage clearly belongs to Vhagar. Next, we consider age. Vhagar's precise hatching date is well documented in Fire and Blood. Born in the year 51 before Conquest and perishing in 130 after Conquest, she lived exactly 181 years. As Archmaester Gildain notes, only Balerion the Black Dread had lived longer among the Targaryen dragons. The Cannibal, however, presents a fascinating mystery. The world of ice and fire contains intriguing passages suggesting he may have predated Targaryen settlement. Maester Tomax writes, "The wild dragon known as the Cannibal was said by the small folk to have dwelled upon Dragonstone since before memory." A true telling further notes that when dragon seeds attempted to claim him during the dance, none dared approach the ancient black beast that had made its lair on the smoking mountain since before the coming of the Andals. If these accounts contain even a kernel of truth, the Cannibal may have lived over 3 centuries, perhaps even 5 or 6. Such longevity would be extraordinary, even among dragonkind. The advantage in age and the wisdom it brings must go to the Cannibal. In terms of combat experience, these dragons could not be more different. Vhagar's battle record is extensively chronicled throughout Westerosi history. Under Queen Visenya Targaryen, she participated in all major battles of Aegon's Conquest, including the Field of Fire, where Archmaester Gildain reports that Vhagar's flames melted the armour of 1,000 knights to their bodies. Later, with Lord Balon the Brave astride her back, Vhagar fought in the Fourth Dornish War, where the Targaryen histories describe how she reduced 3 Dornish towers to smouldering ruins in a single night. Most notably, during the Dance of Dragons, with Prince Aemond One Eye as rider, she engaged in the Battle of the Gullet, the Burning Mill, and the infamous battle above the God's Eye. When we examine the lethal encounters with other dragons, Vhagar's record becomes truly impressive. Archmaester Gildain's Fire and Blood explicitly documents Vhagar slaying 3 dragons in combat. First was young Arax, whom she bit clean in half mid-flight above Shipbreaker Bay. Next was Meleys the Red Queen at Rook's Rest, where with Sunfire's assistance they brought down this formidable she-dragon. Finally, in her last battle, though mortally wounded herself, Vhagar managed to tear the wing from Prince Daemon's dragon Caraxes, sending both plummeting to their deaths in the God's Eye Lake. As Septon Eustace observed, no dragon in the known annals had claimed so many of their own kind in combat. The Cannibal, despite his fearsome reputation, has no documented participation in structured combat. While Fire and Blood mentions the Cannibal descended upon the corpse of Stormcloud after the Westerosi Battle of the Gullet to feed, there exists no record of him engaging living dragons in direct confrontation. However, the Cannibal's name was not given without cause. Mushroom's account claims the Cannibal had devoured at least 3 young dragons over the decades, a hatchling belonging to Queen Rhaena, a wounded dragon called Grey Ghost, and possibly others. But critically, as Grand Maester Munken notes, the Black Beast preferred to wait until dragons were injured, dying, or newly hatched before making his approach. His predation was opportunistic rather than tactical. As Septon Eustace observed, the Black Beast feasted on the fallen but fled before the challenge of battle. The clear advantage belongs to Vhagar. The temperament of these magnificent creatures reveals another striking contrast. Vhagar demonstrated remarkable adaptability throughout her long life. As recorded in Fire and Blood, she bonded successfully with 4 different riders across her lifespan: Queen Visenya Targaryen, Lady Balon Targaryen, Prince Balon the Brave, and finally Prince Aemond One Eye. Archmaester Gildain specifically notes that despite her ferocious nature, Vhagar showed uncommon receptivity to new riders and battle strategies. During the Battle of the Burning Mill, Maester Norren observed how the great dragon responded with uncanny precision to Prince Aemond's commands, executing complex aerial maneuvers despite her immense size. This tactical discipline allowed Vhagar to outmaneuver smaller, more agile dragons. As Septon Eustace wrote, the beast possessed not only the strength of a veteran warrior, but the discipline of a seasoned battle commander. The Cannibal, by stark contrast, represents the antithesis of draconic domestication. The princess and the queen records that no less than 9 dragon seeds attempted to claim the great black beast during the Dance of Dragons, and all met with failure or death. Mushroom's account is more colourful, claiming the Cannibal devoured 3 would-be riders whole and burned 5 others to cinders when they approached his lair. Perhaps most telling is Grand Maester Munken's description of the creature's behaviour during the dance. While other wild dragons eventually accepted riders when offered, the Cannibal responded to all human approach with immediate and unrelenting hostility. Septon Barth theorized that the Black Dragon's prolonged isolation had rendered him incapable of the mental bonds necessary for rider partnership, making him perhaps the only truly feral dragon in Westerosi history. This remarkable difference in temperament would prove crucial in combat. As Archmaester Marwyn later observed in his studies, a dragon fighting under rider guidance maintains focus and purpose, while a wild dragon often abandons strategic advantage when injured or threatened. This discipline would prove invaluable in extended combat. The advantage must go to Vhagar. Perhaps most crucial in dragon combat is firepower. Vhagar's flames were described in Fire and Blood as having such extraordinary heat that during the storming of the Gullet they set aflame 60 ships of the Triarchy fleet in a single fiery pass. When Aemond and Vhagar descended upon Harrenhal, eyewitness accounts claim her fire burned so hot that stone towers wept molten tears down their sides, while knights within their steel plate were cooked alive, the metal of their armour fusing to their flesh. Septon Eustace wrote that no living creature within half a league survived her fury. Only Balerion the Black Dread is believed to have produced more devastating dragon fire, while the Cannibal, that ancient and terrible wild dragon of Dragonstone, undoubtedly possessed formidable flame capabilities. Historical records from Maester Gildain note only that the beast feasted on fallen dragons after battle, caring little if they were friend or foe. Though renowned for its size and savage nature, no accounts specifically detail its destructive potential to match what we know of Vhagar's documented battlefield accomplishments during the Dance of Dragons. The advantage in firepower belongs to Vhagar. Now we turn our attention to another crucial factor in dragon combat: speed. Vhagar, despite her enormous size, demonstrated remarkable agility for a dragon of her age. According to the Princess and the Queen, during the Battle of the Gullet, witnesses reported how she executed a dramatic banking maneuver over Dragonstone that belied her massive frame. Lady Laena Velarion's frequent journeys across the narrow sea demonstrated Vhagar's impressive sustained flight capability. Grand Maester Munken's chronicles note that Vhagar could cross from King's Landing to Old Town within a day's turn, a distance that would take other dragons substantially longer. The Cannibal, however, presents us with a fascinating counterpoint. Septon Eustace recorded how this wild dragon would appear as if from nowhere when hatchlings were vulnerable, suggesting extraordinary stealth for such a large creature. Mushroom's tales describe how the black beast would strike like lightning from storm clouds, a testament to its explosive acceleration. Most tellingly, Maester Yandel's The World of Ice and Fire mentions that dragon seeds attempting to claim new mounts during the dance feared the Cannibal above all others precisely because no rider could outpace his sudden, devastating attacks. When comparing these magnificent creatures on speed alone, we must acknowledge the Cannibal's superior burst velocity and hunting reflexes against Vhagar's impressive long-distance endurance. In this category, the advantage narrowly favours the Cannibal. Finally, we must consider the unique adaptations each dragon developed. Vhagar benefited from centuries of rider bonds, as chronicled in Fire and Blood. First claimed by Queen Visenya Targaryen during the Conquest, later by Lady Laena Velaryon, who flew her daily across the narrow sea, and finally by Prince Aemond Targaryen, who mastered her fierce temperament despite his missing eye. Archmaester Gildain noted that with each rider, Vhagar seemed to absorb something of their character, developing tactical approaches no wild dragon could match. Grand Maester Munken's accounts describe how she executed complex battle maneuvers over the God's Eye that younger, less experienced dragons could never attempt. The Cannibal, however, evolved specialized hunting techniques specifically for targeting other dragons. Mushroom's testimonies tell us this ancient predator would lie in wait near the Dragonmont's smoking caverns, ambushing younger dragons as they emerged from hunting. Septon Barth theorized in Dragons, Worms and Wyverns that the Cannibal's peculiar habit of consuming its own kind granted it unprecedented knowledge of draconic anatomy. Maester Benefer observed that, unlike other dragons who target the neck or belly, the black beast strikes first at the wing joints, a remarkable adaptation giving him unique insight into draconic vulnerabilities that no other dragon possessed. In this final category, the advantage goes to the Cannibal. After careful analysis of these magnificent creatures, our tally stands thus: Vhagar 4 points, the Cannibal 3 points. In this hypothetical encounter between two of history's most formidable dragons, Vhagar's combination of size, combat experience, disciplined temperament, and devastating firepower would likely overcome the Cannibal's wild ferocity, speed, and specialized hunting abilities. Yet nature remains unpredictable. In the world of dragons, as in all wilderness, the outcome of such encounters can never be known with absolute certainty. These extraordinary creatures, like so many magnificent species, now exist only in memory and legend. Their kind will never again cast shadows across our skies. Yet through the chronicles of history we can glimpse, if only for a moment, the awesome power and terrible beauty that once soared above the world of men.